So when you first got started and you're like, I'm gonna go, I know I want to do real estate, I'm gonna flip this house, did you
Mhm.
have a plan? Did you have it laid out? And if you didn't, that's fine. We call it a roadmap here at On Purpose Investor. And that roadmap is like a detailed description of what your path, what your life looks like in the next
Mhm.
3 years. Did you have something like that put together?
Yeah, yes, 100%. And that's really what, if I didn't have that, I would never would have started because
Hmm.
I like to read and like the Seven Habits, Stephen Covey, that's a
Hmm.
big one. Start with the end in mind. So, as a matter of fact, I have a journal that I have the front of it's a vision board. So I've got like little pictures cut out and then it's like like 10 to 15 years from now, and then 5 years from now, 3 years from now, 1 year from now, and then I operate in like 12 week periods because I'm also a fan of the 12-week year. If you've ever read that,
I have
it's
not read that one.
it's a really good book. It just I forget the author. I'm embarrassed to say, but the concept behind it is we all like corporations will kind of be, not as productive until they get towards the end of the year when they got to meet all their numbers, and then bang, they have the best quarter of the whole year is at the end of the year. But
Yeah.
what if you just treated each quarter like 1 year and condense it into 1 year? Like think of how fast and how
Yeah.
productive you can be. I'm
And
not doing it
I think
justice,
that's
but
probably driven by some type of hyper intentionality. If
yeah,
you're
it's
just being
exactly right. Mhm.
super intentional,
Yep,
results come.
exactly. That's what it is. So I had to go. I knew where I wanted to go. I knew what I wanted to be, and I knew that real estate and investing in real estate was a way to do that. Was a way to get
Hmm.
there. And I have a plan, for just about everything else in life. Um, that going into buying the house, it was for me. I'm an over planner, so in order for me to take action, I had to kind of throw that out the window, which was really hard. Not that I didn't plan at all. I always kept an eye on the money. I knew exactly where the last dollar was with that line, and and I went right to it. Put it that way.
Hmm.
But I knew where it was at all times. But it was the systems and the things that I didn't have in place, and the countless trips that I didn't even include the gas that I probably spent on driving back and forth to Home Depot. Like it's
Hmm.
you know it, so that plan, the minutia of it was kind
Yeah.
of off the hip. But I knew the money was always like that was I always kind of kept track of that.
Right. Right.
So.
No, and I think that's great. Without that detailed roadmap, usually, if you get in the car and you have no idea where you're driving, you're
Hmm.
just gonna aimlessly drive. And a lot of people do that with their lives.
Yeah.
More people. And there was a study done, don't know where it came from. I know I read it on a website somewhere that wasn't Wikipedia, so it's likely to be somewhat decently honest. But the majority of people on this earth plan for a birthday party or some type of wedding event
Hmm.
or something like that. They spend more time planning something like that than they ever do planning their life.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
such a
scary.
shocking factor. It is a shocking factor because all it
Yeah.
takes is just a little intentionality of saying, all right, let's sit down for, an hour every
Yep.
once a month, even
Oh yeah.
just once a month. Let's sit down for an hour and say, hey, here's what I'd like to accomplish this year or next year or the next 3 years. Hey,
Hmm.
at the end of this first year, if we want to make it to where we say we want to be in year three, what if we kind of back into that and in this first quarter, these first 3 months, let's try to work toward that goal. And that's literally all it is. It's just planning out and then backing into what are your actionable steps that you can take. And
Hmm.
those small little things make such a huge impact. And
Yeah.
it just takes a decision. You just have a decision to make. Are you going to sit down and do it?
Exactly. And I'll tell you, I spend probably about 50% of my. I don't really keep track of my work hours because I'm my own boss, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But 50% of my working time is planning. That's it. Because if I don't, then I'm busy. I'm always busy, but but
Mm-hmm.
I might not be productive whatsoever. So it's always like I got a plan, and I know if like sometimes it'll be a Sunday and I'm like I just don't. I'm tired. I don't feel like thinking about tomorrow. I'll just do it in the morning. And that whole week
Yeah.
is like I'm a mess the whole week. I
Hmm.
mean, it feels like it to me. I'm a mess the whole week, but it's because you got to line up. You got to put your ducks in a row, and you got to at least plan on on what you're gonna win tomorrow. Like reflect on your wins from today, but then plan on tomorrow what you're gonna win.
No, that's
And
right. Absolutely.
the wins might not be the same wins that you planned on, but you'll get wins if you're just operating in that mindset of like gotta get this done. And it was all the going back to the 3 offers a day. Like I'm making 3 offers a day. That's just what I'm planning to do until something happens, and it happened. So
Yeah.
I
No,
managed to get I managed to buy a house off the MLS in the middle of it all when nobody said you could do that. So
that's right. And I'll be honest with you, the majority of the houses my wife and I own, Tiffany and I, we bought them off the MLS. We have a handful of houses that we own or have flipped that were, word of mouth or door knocking or, cold calls. But the majority of our stuff came off the MLS. It is possible. We're
mhm.
entering, it's January of 2023 right now. And we're slowly entering a market where you're going to start seeing them come on the MLS again.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
we've gone and looked at a few just very recently and are making offers again. So don't be shy to get on the
yep.
MLS. Just know what your buy box is, know exactly what you need to buy for your portfolio, and start making offers like TJ. I mean, you killed it making those offers. Not a lot of people would
Yeah.
do that.
Well, I have a system, and we like I said before, being a real estate agent, I have access to the MLS, and I have transaction software that's like connected to the MLS. So it was just
Mm-hmm.
like I plugged the MLS number in, tax ID, all everything, legal descriptions all filled out. So I just had to copy and paste my stipulations. So I had a system for making offers.
Yeah,
Copy and paste my stipulations in there, and then sign it, send it off. And as we get into the back into the opportunities down the MLS, like I know that I hope you don't get anybody unsubscribing because you had a realtor on your show, because
no, you should.
I know there's a certain feeling towards real estate agents from sometimes from
Well,
investors.
if someone in my listening group feels a certain way about realtors, that is their problem and not
Right.
ours. So, and if they need to unsubscribe, I fully encourage them to go ahead and hit the unsubscribe button.
Yeah, not. I mean, I'm just kidding, but it's true though, because there are shitty agents out there, and
Hmm.
they do a shitty job for people. There's more. There's a statistic that like 80% of the real estate agents that have their license today will leave the business within 5 years.
Yeah,
They'll just be gone,
it's.
just because they don't know what they're doing, and they're not going to take the time to learn.
Hmm.
So really, like I work with some investors, and it's a system. It's just take the MLS, plug it in, but copy and paste. Like have a Word document with all the stipulations that are specific to your investor, and just paste them in, send it off. Like
That's right.
every day to just get into a system. And so speaking to the investors out there that don't have their license, or hiring other people to do this stuff for them, find an agent. An agent should be a bird dog for you, and not worry about making any money when you buy that property. Like, hey, I found this house. They need cash. They got to get out of it right away. They're about to get foreclosed. Like, here's introduce you. Great. Handshake. Like when you flip it and sell it, like think of me to list it. That kind of thing. Like it's all a
Absolutely.
relationship. And doing comps. Like I got a guy. We haven't so he buys off the MLS. I haven't sold him a house in a year and a half. He calls me once a month to run comps for him. Sure, no problem. Absolutely. So you got to find agents that are willing to work for you, to
Yeah.
put in like make the deposits, so to speak, so that,
Hmm.
because in the long run, that I like to think that most people are kind and are decent, so
Yeah.
they'll remember you for doing that kind of stuff.
That's
And just
right. And when you find that agent, be loyal. As an investor to the agent, we have been like married to our agent for the past 4.5 years, and
yeah,
I can't tell you how many deals have been won because of him. Him going to
yeah,
bat for us. Him, understanding what our needs are and getting up there on it. And then, when we buy off market deals that we're going to flip, we tell them, hey, we love everything that you do for us. So, I
Mhm.
mean, we could easily just go FSBO, for sale by owner, these flips, but man, you help us so much. We're going to give it to you. And you know what? Go
Yeah.
ahead and take like 4% commission. I don't care. Just do it. And we trust you. And we just put it
Yeah.
in his hands and we trust that he sells it. And he does a great job.
Hmm.
And the way you're describing the relationship between realtors and investors should be, it's spot on. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yep.
Investors out there, don't take advantage of them. Don't waste their time. Don't drag them around and ask them to make silly offers that are stupid because, you should know better and listen to the advice of the realtor. If you're out there saying, "Oh, I want to offer 50,000 under," just because I said so, and
Yeah.
and God knows it'll never get accepted. Um, don't waste their time, and they won't waste yours. I mean, it's
Hmm.
a symbiotic relationship, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of money to be made in that relationship, and there's a lot of growth that can happen through that relationship as well.
Yeah. 100%. And even, I mean, as an investor going, I mean, I'm biased, but going for sale by owner, like there's costs involved with that. There's time.
Mhm.
Like that's what we do as agents. Like all the marketing, that's all it's that's what we do. So
That's right.
yeah, you can definitely go for sale by owner, but it goes back to like, are you trading your time for money, or
Hmm.
are or could you be out finding another deal while you're trusting an agent, or you hire staff to do it, but there's still money coming out of your pocket, or time coming out of your
Right.
pocket, one way or
Right.
another. So just trust the person that does it
You are
every day.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
absolutely right,
That's my
TJ.
that's my my plug for working with real estate agents.
There
but
you
but
go.
find the right one though. Don't work with a shitty one. There are a lot of shitty agents out there, and
Mhm.
I mean, ask them the questions. Like they should definitely know what, I don't know what the 1% rule is. They should definitely know what cap rate is, and they should
Mhm.
definitely know the 70% rule. Like they should know all this stuff, and
Yeah.
you can teach them if they know the basics and they're a hustler, then you can teach them what your needs are, because all investors are all looking for something different.
Right.
You
And
can just
if you're an agent out there listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I want to be a better realtor for my investor um, people out there.
Mhm.
We're gonna give out TJ's information a little bit later in the show on how to reach out to him, and I'm sure he would be absolutely thrilled to just help you out, but make it symbiotic. Offer him something, and I say that because I like it when there's always a give, not a give
Yeah.
take
Well,
relationship.
there are ways to partner with me, and no, I'll just throw that out there. But well,
There
if
we
anybody's
go.
interested, certainly reach out.